Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Life and Living, a space where we pause for a little while, reflect gently, and reconnect with ourselves in the middle of life's chaos. I'm your host, Shubhra, and I'm truly glad you've chosen to spend this time with me today. Today's episode is personal, it's raw, and honestly, it's something I think all of us, no matter our age, our role, our background, struggle with. We're talking about validation. That deep, quiet craving we all have to be liked, appreciated, seen, and approved. But what happens when that craving becomes a need? When we start living more for the applause than for authenticity? And what does it cost us? Emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually, to constantly shape ourselves to please others. Let's unpack this gently, intelligently, and from a place of compassion. From the moment we are born, we are taught approval equals love. If you behave, you are praised. If you cry too much, you're a bad baby. If you perform well in school, you're the good child. So naturally, we grow up believing that to be worthy, we must please. Psychologically, this is rooted in our need for belonging. It's wired into us. It's how we survived as a species. But in modern life, it's taken a new form. Now it's not just our parents or teachers we want approval from. It's the entire world. And thanks to social media, that world is watching 24/7. We post, we wait, we refresh, we compare. And slowly, without even realizing, our self-worth gets measured by numbers on a screen. The likes, the comments, the "you look great" texts, they become our fuel. And without them, we start to feel invisible. Especially for women, and increasingly for men too, there's this unspoken checklist we are expected to meet. Be slim, but not too slim. Be fair, but not pale. Be smart, but not intimidating. Be successful, but still soft and selfless. Be ambitious, but always smiling. And yes, be flawless, physically, emotionally, and socially. It's exhausting and it's cruel because no one, absolutely no one, can sustain that performance forever. Let's talk about body shaming. It's a very deeply painful and normalized form of control. We are judged, subtly or openly, for gaining weight, for having dark skin, for aging, having those fine lines, for acne, for stretch marks. And what's really tragic is, it often comes from people who are supposed to love us unconditionally. Relatives who comment on our relationship status or professional success. Friends who shame us for gaining weight or for our food choices. Even ourselves, when we look in the mirror and feel inadequate. But have you thought about it? Our body or mind is not a project. It's not a billboard for worthiness. It is our home, and it deserves gentleness and not judgment. Now, here's the thing we don't always talk about. When we live in a world that constantly judges us, we begin to judge others just as harshly. We start measuring people's value based on the same surface level metrics: looks, money, social status, success. We scroll through someone's profile and think, she doesn't look put together, or he's not in our league. And we don't even realize that we are using their lifestyle, their looks, their polish to decide their worth. It's unconscious, it's subtle, but it's real. And the truth is, when we judge others, it's often because we are afraid of being judged ourselves. Now, let's talk about what this really costs us. Not just in time or energy, but in identity. When we chase validation constantly, we start losing pieces of ourselves. We make choices not based on what we want, but what others might praise. We don't speak up in meetings, not because we don't have ideas, but because we're afraid of looking foolish. We say yes to social plans, favors, responsibilities, while our inner voice is screaming, please just let me rest. And the scariest part, over time we forget who we were before we started performing. We become actors in our own lives, playing roles for an audience we didn't even choose. We base major life decisions, careers, relationships, even parenting styles on the fear of disappointing someone. It creates constant anxiety, an inner restlessness, and a quiet sadness that asks, when will I ever feel enough? This is the real cost of seeking validation. It robs us of self trust. And without that, we live like a chameleon, constantly adjusting but never belonging, not even to ourselves. So let's figure out how to step out of this trap. It begins by coming home to ourselves. Ask yourself, whose voice am I living for? Whose expectations am I shaping my life around? And most importantly, what do I think of me? Start small. Say no when you mean no. Post the picture that you like, not the one that's most filtered. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. And validate yourself daily, not with empty affirmations, but with honest check ins. Number 1, was I true to myself today? Number 2, did I honor my boundaries? Number 3, did I show up with integrity, even if no one noticed? That's what real self worth sounds like: quiet, steady, unshakable. If there's one thing I want you to remember today, it's this: you don't have to earn your worth, you were born with it. Your value isn't in how you look, how much you achieve, or who approves of you. It's in your truth, your heart, your courage to live honestly, even when it's uncomfortable. So the next time you find yourself shrinking to fit someone else's idea of what's enough, pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be real. You've been listening to Life and Living. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who's been living in the shadows of approval for too long. Remember, you're not alone. Together we'll learn to slowly let go of the need to be liked and learning how to like ourselves instead, one moment at a time. Here's to life, here's to living, here's to us.